So we're going to take off this downpipe. Now, a couple things to keep in mind. I pulled the heat shield off so you guys can see this. There's a 3-bolt flange right here, which is the one that I talked about in a previous video about removing the downpipe. It attaches back here to the engine. So we're going to take that bolt off first. I'm going to take this off as one big piece. It is actually 2 different pieces. This section here is different between the front wheel drive and the all-wheel drive versions. But I'm just interested in taking this off. Once we have that off, we can then disassemble all this EGR stuff to get the actual turbo out. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give this a shot.
Now before everybody freaks out, the reason this downpipe looks so easy for me to remove is because it's out of the car. Because of that bottom bend where the exhaust meets up, that would not fit past the EGR system if you tried to remove this in the engine bay. The bend itself would get in the way. The 3-bolt flange that I referred to would have to be undone in order to remove the catalytic converter section and then remove the bend. But because of the location of the bolts, this is next to impossible unless you have a very specific set of extensions and universal sockets that most people do not have.
Explain to me why that needs to be that long for a V-bend. Why? Why is that long?
Why not?
Alright, ready? Here it is. Version 2 downpipe. Holy shit, that's heavy. Okay. There's the EGR system. Alright, so now that I have the EGR system off, I'm going to go ahead and actually remove the turbo itself, which sounds like a simple task, but it's not. So we're going to remove this heat shield. I already have the oil feed line disconnected. I just have to disconnect the main bracket. The coolant line is already unhooked up here. The coolant line down here is already unhooked. So once I remove this heat shield, I should just be able to pull the studs off of it, remove the entire turbocharger assembly, and then we can kind of go from there. Alright, so I'm going to attempt to put this version 1 turbo manifold on here. If it lines up, then we are in good shape. And it does. Yep. Everything lines up. Alright, so that means we are in business to make this happen. If this didn't line up, we were going to have to make a full turbo manifold, but that lines up, which means I can do the turbo the way I normally would with the with the V1, and just work around the EGR system, which I will bolt back in place in a minute. Alright, so we have the factory turbo off, so I can start working on my turbo adapter for the version 1 manifold. So I have my Subaru flange bolted down here. I'm going to clean up some of this coating that they put on here, weld this to it, and then bolt the turbo to that, put the adapter on, the flange that I have on, get that somewhat bolted down, and then work on positioning the turbo and lining that up. So let's get started on that. Alright, so there it is. 16G turbo on a V2 engine. I just got everything clocked, just making sure that it's right with that pipe. So that's the way it's going to sit. So the fun part is that needs to go into the intake. So the intake part I'm going to make when I put it back in the car, because I need to know where everything goes. So for now, I got to finish welding up the adapter, and then next time I'll make the downpipe. And then it's a matter of playing with coolant lines to get those all working. The coolant line has to run down to that hose there. So it's just a little bit of extra work, but there it is. It's on there. Hi. You made it through a whole video. I appreciate that. You should go check out our other videos. You should also go check out our website, thefastreligion.com. We got like sweatshirts and t-shirts and stuff.